to Big 12 This Morning on Sirius XM Big 12 Radio, Channel 375.
Lincoln Riley seeking out handshakes. 5, 4, 3. Win column, Sooners. Game over. Final score deep into a Saturday night in Norman. It was Oklahoma 28 and TCU 24.
Big 12 This Morning, Sirius XM, Channel 375, Oklahoma 28, TCU 24, but a lot to discuss from that game. Let's do it with R.J. Young, host of the R.J. Young Sports Animal, 9 to 11 a.m., also staff writer at OU 24/7, and you can catch him on YouTube as well. Just search R.J. Young. R.J., good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, Ari, it's nice to hear from you, man. Toby sounds a whole hell of a lot happier than OU fans in that clip, dude.
No kidding. So let's start there. It's a win, but it is, man, it's like a loss.
Third straight week, man. Third straight week. No, it was funny because the defense actually played really well, giving up just 17 points. In fact, 17 over the last 6 quarters. 240 yards of offense, just 65 through the air. Don't look now, but Oklahoma's total defense ranking is 31st in the country, and yet Jalen fumbling the ball in the red zone. Consecutive weeks, turning the ball over in key situations in 3 straight games, and now all of a sudden the ball security thing is real. 17 fumbles this year for Oklahoma, 9 of them have been lost, and that guy throwing the pick 6 to put this game in reach for TCU and to change the tenor of it completely is giving OU fans the willies.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 28-17, they're about to go in, and at worst, it's going to be 31-17, a 2-touchdown game, and probably going to be 35-17, and sort of the little bit of shakiness in the middle of the game is over, and Oklahoma, even if that's the final margin, sort of wins going away, and all of a sudden it injected sort of a giant fright into everything regarding the season. But let me ask you this. If you look at the bigger picture, Oregon lost. And yes, Oklahoma didn't have a statement win, but they had a win. And, at what point do you have to step back or tell the fans to step back and say, look, at this point they just need to keep winning. And if they can ever get it all to click together, they're going to be fine. If Jalen just holds on to the football, then look what the defense is doing. How do you go about that? Or do you think the fans are right to be focused on, oh, my goodness, 1 week it's this, now it's that, and now Jalen can't hang on to the football?
I mean, hell, George, you were as close to this team as anybody's ever been, having covered it, so you understand that they're split on it, right? Fans will know, hey, you got to hold on to the football. That's why they named the game after the ball. That's how important it is. But you'll also say, hey, look, Oregon lost in a Survivor Series at this point. It's, are you still standing up? And they are. So I think they do what they're supposed to do. Oklahoma has never lost a resume battle. All right, that's what you hold dear if you're an OU fan. The tradition, the fan interaction, Lincoln Riley in this offense, people just give it the benefit of the doubt. I mean, think about 2018, how bad that defense was. And this defense is twice as good as the one that was last year. So, I mean, yeah, but you're going to get angsty because you think you should win every game if you're OU. And quite honestly, George, tell me a game they should have lost this year.
Tell me a game that Oklahoma should have lost this
Yeah.
year?
Like, going into the game, which game should they have lost?
Oh, going into the game, they are the better team on paper than anybody they played.
Right. And that's the point. That's the point I'm making that OU fans would be making to you is, hey, we should be undefeated at this point. We shouldn't even be in this situation.
Well, listen, that's true, except that going undefeated, by the way, is hard to do in college football because the margin is not that much. First of all, the margin between Oklahoma, and I know you know this, the margin between Oklahoma and those opponents that it's better than is not nearly as large most games as people think it is.
Correct.
We have seen that. That is one of the things we've learned. But even before the season, people need to know that. And then secondly, it's hard to be emotionally up every week. And I'm not suggesting they were flat and losing to Kansas State or not playing well down the stretch. I'm just saying it's hard, and there are so many different factors that make it hard to win every week in and week out. And the teams that do it are, few and far between and typically special.
RJ, to what would you attribute the better defensive play over the last few weeks?
being assignment sound and tackling. I mean, it's small things, right? But we all know the defense is basic, and that is to say that they're going to run man on the outside, and they're going to put their safeties in situations that they have to match up with slot receivers and running backs. And when Delarian Turner-Yell, number 32, is making tackles, you have a good football team. It's really been that simple for them. Because if he's making tackles and Kenneth Murray Jr. is breaking down to make a tackle, which he did against TCU, instead of overrunning the play, everything becomes simple because you've had outstanding defensive line play, especially at Oklahoma. Neville Gallimore, LaRon Stokes, Jalen Redmond, all of those guys know what they're doing. You got the injection of Caleb Kelly into the defense with TCU, but also take into account that Alex Grinch had been out-coached in a couple of these games. And in this one, I thought it was particularly interesting that he put an emphasis on, we're not going to leave practice today until we get 3 consecutive great plays from our defense throughout the week, to just emphasize, hey, that's all it takes. 3 and out, get off the field. And that's been what it is if they has their attitude correct, if their effort is there as he wants it to be, his defense works. But if they are not actually doing their job and only their job, we can see how quickly it falls apart.
Yeah, I think that's right, for sure. So what would you expect out of Bedlam in Stillwater? Obviously, the Cowboys playing better of late. They won 4 in a row. Lost Spencer Sanders. Maybe they don't have quite the same capability on offense as they had. But Drew Brown played credibly. Chuba Hubbard is an absolute beast of a star. And then the defense is playing a lot better. What do you think that we're all going to see in Bedlam?
I think we're going to see outstanding run defense from Oklahoma State because they're quietly ranked inside the top 40 in that statistic, and that's been what Oklahoma has done well over the last couple of weeks. So you're going to take your shots, of course, with that secondary, but Colby Harvell-Peel, is doing a really great job at that safety position for them. Malcolm Rodriguez can tackle. But for me, it's going to be when Mike Gundy gets to these 4th down situations, is he going to pull the trigger? Because that's what I saw against West Virginia. You're punting and you're doing really conservative in a lot of these situations in which I'm going, hey, man, just let your offense do what they do or hand the ball to Chuba. I mean, needs 168 yards rushing against Oklahoma to go for 2,000 yards this year, to your point about him being a beast of a star. So run the ball, take your shots because you got nothing to lose on this deal. Go try to win a football game. And if you could stop Oklahoma running the ball and you got a shot, because Jalen Hurts is your best running back, and if you can stop him, as we saw TCU was able to do on key situations, you got an opportunity to win this game. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than the spread. I think Oklahoma State's going to be up for this game. I think if Mike Gundy can just let it go and let his offense work, they got a shot to win this thing.
Talk with RJ Young of the Tulsa Sports Animal and of OU 24/7. You can also catch him on YouTube, making great videos on Oklahoma and college football in general. All right, so how do you see this playing out? Are these turnover issues and Jalen Hurts' up and down play, is that going to derail the 12-1 for them, or do you think they go 12-1 and give their best shot for a playoff bid?
Well, it sure as hell could, Ari. I mean, because I looked at this game, I said if Oklahoma doesn't turn the ball over, they win. And it doesn't look as close as it's probably going to be played when they go to Boone Pickens this weekend. But if Jalen Hurts throws a pick, puts the ball on the ground a couple of times, and those end up in Oklahoma State hands, you give them more opportunities to get that offense going, yeah, they're probably going to win the game. So ball security is at the top of the list of priorities for Oklahoma because if you take care of the ball, your defense has shown in the last 3 games, it will help you. It will give you an opportunity to win, and you know what? It will save you. I mean, Buki with the pick, and then Nick Benito with the pick, and then Parnell Motley with the pseudo pick. So, I mean, if you give them a chance to help you, they will. But you can't do that by turning the ball over.
All right, RJ, I want to take the other side, to the other side of the league. Baylor, on the other side of the Big 12 championship game, 10-1. The Bears bounced back from what had to be a really tough thing to bounce back from when they, had the big lead and then gave it all back, or had it all taken back, however you want to look at it. From Oklahoma. So their big party that was about to unfold with this perfect season went away. And then all they do is they go and they basically dominate Texas. What does that say about the Bears? What did we learn about the Bears when they're able to do that a week after such a tough loss? And then what does it say about Texas that they're in this situation?
Yeah, how upset were you that Texas was utterly and thoroughly dominated?
Really sad.
Well,
felt sad.
The first thing is that it solidifies what we all thought when November started. Matt Rhule is the National Coach of the Year. What he's done with this Bears team is really, really special. And to his to his credit, he's such a good and kind guy that it was nice to see a guy like that have this sort of season, but he has his team ready to go every week. They don't have an out-and-out star. The closest thing we would say to that is Charlie Brewer, the quarterback, who's a guy that didn't have a Power 5 offer until Matt Rhule decided to offer him without ever seeing him play, which I love that story. And they're just doing what they know how to do. Even toward the end of the Texas game, put Gary Bohannon in there to run QB counter, QB draw, and to take the air out of this thing. As for Texas, they're 6-5. For perspective here, Illinois is 6-5. Kentucky's 6-5. Tennessee's 6-5. But you know what? Illinois' got a Wisconsin pelt to show for this and a Michigan State pelt to show for this. Texas' best win is against Oklahoma State this year. If you are a Texas fan, what is it that you want done? Because you can't fire Tom Herman. You can't do it. And who are you going to go get? Urban Meyer ain't coming to take this job. You know, you're not going to get Nick Saban. Mac Brown screwed that up for you years ago. So I don't know what to do with Texas except to laugh at it because you're the most moneyed program in college football. You have great recruiting classes, so you get who you want. And yet and still, the offensive genius can't move the football against Baylor. And you're calling run plays with 5 seconds left to go so you can show 24-10 when we all know that game was 24-3. I don't know what they're doing at Texas. All I know is I wanted to keep going.
RJ Young.
Okay. I know I get some reaction. I wasn't sure I was getting that one.
Follow him on Twitter at RJ_Young. Of course, make sure to check out Tulsa Sports Animal 9 to 11 every morning and his YouTube page as well. RJ is getting it done. Appreciate your time as always, RJ. Be well, man.
I appreciate you, all right. Thank you, George.
Thanks, man.
RJ Young joining us.